Hi, this video has been requested by Laura. She says, "Hi Dante, can you please show us a video on making hamburgers in your air fryer? I love meat but can't have steaks every day. Thanks. Love your philosophy on things." So I told Laura that I'd try to make one tonight. Now, that was yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to make one yesterday, but I'm on my way to make one for you now, Laura. And hopefully all of you will enjoy this. I've got 1.54 pounds of ground beef here. This is beef from the cow that I got from Big Mo Cattle. It's a grass-fed, grass-finished cow. 50% fat, 50% beef as far as the ground meat beef part. But then I also added, had them grind in the heart and liver and kidney into this ground beef. So it makes up about 15% of the overall amount here. So it's a mixture of organ meat and beef. We call them warrior burgers. It'll cook the same for any other burger. I'm going to cook this using the meter and an air fryer. You don't necessarily need the meter, but I'd like to be able to show you what the temperature is going to look like and just give you a full look at how to cook a good hamburger in the air fryer. You don't have to make them into round patties since you're not going to be eating it with bread. I usually just use the whole brick just like it is, and I only cook it with salt. Let me show you how simple it is. Alright, let's cut this open. Well, the first thing I got to do, because I don't like to get stuff all over my rings, I'm going to take off my ring and my wedding ring, and then we're going to start handling some meat here. Now I usually just use regular Redmond kosher salt, and I'll put a little coating on each side, but I'm not going to use that today. I'm making this burger for my sons, I should say, and a little bit for my wife. Between the three of them, they'll eat this with some other stuff because they still eat vegetables and stuff like that I don't eat. But I mean, I just put a nice little coating of salt on both sides. And you're going to do that to whatever taste you like. I mean, you got to figure out how much salt works for you. I'm using smoked salt. This is the Chef's Blend of Redmond smoked salt. Just adds a nice flavor to it. Kind of tastes like you cooked it on a grill with wood mesquite or something like that. I don't know what Chef's Blend is, but let's see. Since this is hickory and this one is cherry, I'm going to guess Chef's Blend is maybe a mixture of those and maybe has some mesquite in it. I don't know. Whatever it is, everybody seems to like it. It's not my favorite. My favorite is the cherry, followed by hickory, and Chef's Blend is next. But the kids seem to like the Chef's Blend the best. Go figure. I pat it into a patty, but you want to make sure you get that bulkiness out of the center. You don't want to have a thick center to a big patty like this. Otherwise, you'll just have a big ball when you're done. It'll look like a big meatball, and it won't be as cooked in the center, and it'll be overcooked on the outside. So you want to get it nice and flat. I think I mentioned you could do round cuts or little square cuts if you want to make the shapes of burgers. But I mean, you could cut this into 4 little rectangles and you'd still have the meat that you're looking for. So however you want to cut it is up to you. Whatever shape you want it to be in is up to you. Now the first thing I should have done, is set the grill on to preheat. If you're using the same Power XL air fryer that I am, setting it to grill simply puts a preheat setting on there so that you get a good even cook from beginning to end with a similar temperature. You're not starting off at a low temperature and letting it build up, because that can affect your cook time. This should take about 16 to 17 minutes. If you start to get splitting on the edge of the meat, you'll want to bring it back in some and then press it down as you go. Some people tend to put it into a ball and really knead it through their fingers. Some people say that makes a difference. I haven't really noticed one. I've tried it both ways, and it just seems to make more mess the other way, in my opinion. But once you get it to a nice flat square or round, however you want it to be, it doesn't matter. I'm going to set the timer for 18 minutes, but I know we're going to be done before that. And I'm going to use the meter to check and see when it's exactly the temperature that we want it to be. Which, by the way, on a hamburger I have found is about 140 degrees is a good temperature to shoot for, because that'll make sure the meat is safe to eat So while we're waiting for that to heat up, I'm going to go ahead and install the meter. Take the meter out of its case here. KetoCon 2023. It's going to be in Austin, Texas, and yours truly is going to be there on the Saturday event. If I get enough people that get tickets using my code, that they will set something up for a little meet and greet type of situation for me. Check in the description for the link and the code. Not only will it help the opportunity for me to be able to talk to more of you, but you'll also save $50 on your own tickets. And look for Saturday to be the day to have a chance to get together with me. It's got a little light on there. Hopefully it'll be green to indicate that I got plenty of battery life. Yes, it's flashing green. So we're ready to go. You got to be careful not to put it in such a way that it pokes through the bottom or the top. And there's a little line on the meter that you want to make sure it goes into the meat, so that one, it doesn't damage the meter, and two, it gets an accurate reading. I'm going to go ahead and get my app ready to start cooking this. So we open the meter app. I got to pair with it because this is the first time I've used this particular meter. Cook setup. I'm going to go to beef, other, burger. 140 is perfect. And once we put it in, we'll start cooking. I'm going to hit start, and then the last time I hit start here, which I could just go ahead and don't show this message again. Now it's estimating cook time, but I haven't put it in yet. So that wasn't a good idea. I wanted to get rid of that. I'm always doing something to sabotage my own video. Alright, so we're there. It's ready for me to add meat. And in a moment, we'll have an estimate on our cook time. One of the good things about having an air fryer like I have, or rather the tray that I have for the air fryer, I replaced the plate that came with it with a stainless steel grill tray, and I'll put a link in the description for that if you want to see exactly what I'm talking about. Well, what I like about it is it raises the meat up just slightly higher than the tray that came with it does, and it has a lot more airflow. And when you've got heat being circulated by a fan like you do in an air fryer, having that airflow around the meat allows it to sear the outside of the meat a lot better and a lot more evenly if you can get it up off the bottom like that, and it's not touched up against some, like the pan that came with it just had little holes in it every few inches. Alright, so we got 14 minutes left on here. I had started at 20 minutes here, so that would be 18 minutes, but typically the meter is a little bit off on its estimate, and it usually gets done quicker. We'll see how it plays out. But as I was saying, well, let me turn that off. But as I was saying, not allowing the air to flow underneath the meat like that really makes a big difference. I don't have to flip the steak or the burgers in here like I did when I used the plate all the time. So if you're using the standard plate that came with your air fryer, you'll want to get a spatula to get up underneath that burger when you go to flip it over, because halfway through, a big piece of meat like that is still going to be very easy to fall apart. There's nothing wrong with it if it falls apart. You just cook it the rest of the way like that. But if you don't like that to happen when you're cooking your meat, you want it to be one solid piece when you're done, because it does allow it to keep all the juices in a lot better if you can keep it together. And when you take it out of the air fryer, it'll actually keep cooking for a few minutes while you're letting it rest. But you want it to do that because if you open it too soon, the myoglobin on the inside will be still a little red and gooey. But if you let it sit for a while, it's going to be perfect when you're done. I personally don't mind eating it when it's a little gooey like that, but I've learned to be patient and let that resting period go. And it was really Meter Plus that taught me about that resting period. I didn't realize that hamburger needed to rest like a steak does, but when Meter told me I needed to let it rest, I was being patient with it the first time I ever did it. And I said, all right, this is a lot longer than I normally wait to have my burger. But when I had that burger, it was one of the best ones I'd ever had. And thanks to Meter Plus, I've been able to get the best temperatures on my food. I love it. I don't always use it because I'm usually in a hurry, and I often forget to even get it together and use the app or anything. I just count on the times I use. So those of you keep asking me about why I don't use the meter every time, I'm impatient. I'm not always as accurate as I would like to be. But if you're a little bit more finicky about stuff like that, the Meter Plus is right up your alley. And I have a link in the description for that too if you're interested in it. You buy on my Amazon link, you don't have to put in my code or anything like that. You just use that link and buy it. And I do get a little credit for the purchase, and it does help the channel. So thank you guys who have bought in the past, and thank you guys who are going to buy it next. But I think all of you, even if you use it for a while, you'll start to learn how long it takes to cook certain things, and maybe you'll cut a few corners the way I tend to do sometimes. So it's showing 9 minutes left, 8 minutes left. We'll let it finish the process and see what we got. All right, we're down to 1 minute left, and it shows 5 minutes on the timer here. I had set it for 20, so right at 16 minutes is going to prove to be the amount of time we needed. And remove from heat. I like to remove from heat right when I press it. It says 3 minutes for resting, but it might actually take a little longer. This is what it looks like when it comes out. It's not too crispy on the outside, and it's still cooking on the inside. A lot of times you'll see some juice puddling out of a hole or something like that, and that lets you know that it still needs to rest for a little bit. I would encourage you to let it rest, because if you cut into it, all that juice is going to spill out all over your plate. And if you want it to solidify and be part of the burger so that you can enjoy all that fatty goodness, then you want to let it finish doing its thing before you cut it open. So we'll let it rest. Meanwhile, I'll clean out the air fryer real quick. Air frying a fatty burger like that is going to leave a lot more at the bottom of the pan in the air fryer than, say, doing a steak would. Some people just eat whatever is in there too. They put it on top of their meat and eat it like that. I don't do that though, but I do put it in the dog bowl because it adds to the flavor of their food. I try to give my dogs meat whenever I can, which is daily now. I tend to give them a lot of scraps that I could eat, but I like to share with my animals and make sure they stay nice and healthy too. Costs a lot of money to take animals to vets just to get them sick with cheap food. And you'll see also there is a little bit of myoglobin building up on the plate here as some of the juice is leaked out. There's nothing wrong with that juice. You could drink that if you want, or eat it with your burger. As a matter of fact, it's good stuff. A lot of people think it's blood. It's not blood inside of the meat. Blood's inside the veins. There are no veins in here. It's not going to hurt you. Still almost there. I'm all done cleaning my air fryer out. I just want to be able to cut this in half and show you how it looks when it's all done. There we go. It's ready to eat. I'm going to pull out the meter. Be sure to use something to keep you from burning your hands. Sometimes the meter can be hot. And there you go. Perfectly cooked burger. Not too underdone, not too overdone. Nice and juicy. The kids are going to love it. So there you go, Laura. And for all of you who wanted to see how to make a burger in the air fryer, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. I'm going to take a little nibble.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?